Hey there guys, welcome back to Mana Down Under. For today we are looking at a modern deck tech all based around one card from Core Set 2020, Colossus Hammer. Now, I have no idea what to call this deck. I'm thinking maybe Equipment Surprise, or if I could have it my way I'll just call it Yeet, because that's pretty much what you're doing, you're yeeting his hammer into your opponent. So the deck is all built around this one uncommon. The uncommon is Colossus Hammer, 1 mana, artifact equipment, equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying, equip cost of 8. We do run a playset in this deck because it's the main part of the deck. So the worst thing about this card is its equip cost, and it's what holds it back. But we can break it, we can find ways around it. Cards like Sigarda's Aid, Magnetic Theft, and Pure Steel Paladin push it over the edge. Sigarda's Aid is a 1 mana enchantment that says you can cast aura and equipment as though they had flash, but whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to the target creature you control. It does not say pay the equip cost. So we can flash in this hammer for 1 mana and just put it onto anything. No equip costs. It's a huge threat for your opponent to deal with. We do run 2 of those. Magnetic Theft is a pretty underrated card, I reckon, in Modern. So it's 1 mana instant, attach target equipment to a target creature. It doesn't care about who owns what. So you can move an equipment they control into a creature you control. The idea with this is if you've already got the hammer out or other key pieces of equipment, at 1 mana instant you can start shifting around, preferably after blocks are declared. In addition, there are some equipments that do run around Modern, mainly Swords of X and Y, they're the pretty common things. And we do run a playset of Magnetic Theft, it's a pretty fun card. And Pure Steel Paladin, an absolute card draw engine in this deck, very famous for its appearance in the Cheerio decks where it can draw a ton of things. But here, Metalcraft, equip cost becomes 0, that's a huge thing for this deck. And we do run 2 of him. Now, the main reason why I wanted to build this deck, because of that dumb hammer, Infect. This is a surprise, guys, this is a red-white Infect deck, that's what this is. Inkmoth Nexus, the land that can become a 1/1 flying Infect. That's the whole reason we did this. So with the hammer, it's an 11/11 Infect that loses flying. Keep that in mind. But the idea is we declare an attack, they don't block the Inkmoth Nexus because that's flying, but before damage is dealt, we either use Sigarda's Aid to flash in the hammer, attach it, or we use Magnetic Theft to switch it from another creature onto the Inkmoth Nexus after blocks are declared to get through. 1 shot, 1 kill, that's what it becomes. In my head, when I think of this, I see this little thing flying over the enemy battle lines. Suddenly, it Ant-Man's, grabs a hammer, falls to the ground, and just smashes your opponent in 1 hit. Very degenerate, very fun. The only bad side as well is, Inkmoth Nexus is about half this deck's budget. It kind of cuts into you a bit. Other creatures that work really well with this deck are all 1 mana. We've got the Kite Seal Apprentice, we've got Goblin Cavalier, and Cold Duelist. So these are small, cheap, aggro, but we load it up with equipment and we just beat head in. So with the Apprentice here, it's a 1/1 that gets +1/+1 and has flying. Great with all the other equipment pieces in the deck. The only downside is the hammer does bring him down to the ground. So we only run a 3 of for this card. Goblin Cavalier is a big workhorse of the deck. So he's a 1 mana 1/1 with trample, but he gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to him. So with the hammer, he becomes a 13/11. That's a beater. With trample, watch out, opponent. Core Duelist himself can become a 1-shot kill in this deck quite easily. So he's a 1 mana 1/1, but if he's equipped, he gains double strike. He can kill in turn 2. So the idea is you play him turn 1, turn 2 play your second land, 1 mana for Sigarda's Aid, then use your other mana to flash in and free equip your hammer onto the Duelist. On turn 2 attacking, that's 11/11 double striker to your opponent. They probably don't have a blocker up, just saying. So for both of those guys, we run a playset of. Alright, other equipments that we use in the deck. I love Grafted War Gear. I think it's a bit underrated. I do run a playset here. So it's a 3 mana equipment. It gives the creature +3/+2. If it becomes unattached, sacrifice it. It's not really downside unless you use Magnetic Theft. But the upside is equip cost 0. So that's a trade-off. My logic was it's easy to load it onto Inkmoth Nexus if you have a few out, you're trying to go for that 1-shot kill out of nowhere. Or just, it's a 0 equip. You can move it around the board rather easy if we have to. Batterskull does a lot in this deck. It's great in the late game. Living Weapon means we don't have to worry about equip costs. If we need to, it gives us a ton of life through that lifelink. It can return to our hand to avoid being destroyed. It does a lot for this deck, but we only run 2 of because it's a bit higher at 5 mana. Bone Splitter, again, I run 2 of here. This is just a bit more of that early support. They are pretty cheap, 1 mana to play, 1 mana equip, gives a creature +2/+0. It's pretty strong in the sense that you'll have first strike or double strike or trample, so it will bleed the damage into your opponent somehow. Some supporting pieces to the deck, I do run a 1-off for Sun Titan, because in the late game, he can return pretty much most things in the deck from your graveyard to the battlefield when he enters or attacks, so it can be pretty spicy. And Steel Shaper's Gift, we run 3 of these. There are 2 for any equipment in the deck. This is great. You can get whatever piece you need out. Probably the hammer to cheat it in for degenerate things. I do run a 2 of Lightning Greaves, a good way to protect some of the key things. And that equip cost of 0 makes it really easy. Just note, if you have Shroud on your own creatures, it makes them harder to target from your own abilities. So make sure you move the Greaves around if you have to. Path to Exile I do run 3 of here, just for a bit of creature hate. The lands are pretty easy. We've got 20 lands, including the 4 Inkmoth Nexus. We have 16 here. We have 4 Inspiring Vantages, 4 Battlefield Forge, 4 Mountains and 4 Plains, just to give us a nice even mana base. And I do like my vintage lands, like I say every video, so there they are. As for the sideboard, I've kept it pretty vanilla here. I run 1 more Path to Exile, so we can have a playset for versing really heavy creature matchup. I do run a playset of Wear and Tear, because funny enough, the decks that give us most problem will often use Artifact Lockdown or Artifact Hate or Enchantment Hate. So we can use Wear and Tear to get rid of things we don't want to deal with. I do run a 3 of for Core Firewalk if we're versing aggro like Mono Red Burn or something, because that deck is fast too, and it could burn out our key creatures before we can put equipment onto it. So having a creature that is pro-red and gain us a ton of life can probably turn the tide. Relic of Progenitus is here for all those graveyard decks running around. Hogak is a beast of a deck, might get banned, who knows, but we need Graveyard Hate, and it is a bit of card draw if we need it later on. And I do run 3 of Apostle's Blessing for a bit of protection. Can be protection from removal or give a creature pro color to get through as unblocked, hopefully getting a 1-shot kill with the hammer. So, what do you think about the deck? I think it's pretty spicy. The hammer is very cool, it's very fun. It is supported, there are a lot of cards that let it cheat in for free, avoid equip cost. Overall, the deck is kind of cheap for modern, about $420 on Star City Games, and they tend to be the higher end price. You can build it a lot cheaper through eBay or TCG, just buying the parts. If you wanted to, you could totally cut the Inkmoth Nexus, and that's $160 out of the deck right there. And if you want to, just put Blinkmoth Nexus in there. It's a $6 card. It does the same thing but without Infect. But overall, I like the deck. It's pretty fun. A little bit different from what you see in modern. It's a bit of a brew. So let me know your thoughts about it, and have a good one, guys. Catch ya. Alrighty, it's that time of the video. We can do a bit of a shameless plug. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please sub and like. It really does help the channel's analytics out a lot. Maybe consider joining me on my other social platforms, where you can talk about anything and everything Magic related. And special thank you to our patrons. They make the channel what it is. These guys are the building blocks for Mana Down Under. They support the channel in many ways. And if you'd be interested in supporting the channel, links are down below and at the end of the video. Thank you, guys.